So you have your design ready to go, ready to paint, and we're going to be using something called a monochromatic color scheme where we are taking one color and we're mixing it with black and white to make tints and shades. That's considered a monochromatic color scheme, mono referring to one, chromo color, and we're gonna be painting monochromatic colors, mixing tints and shades. I've started one already. I chose the color turquoise, and I wanted to show you that my first tint that I mixed was very, very light. Every time you mix a tint, you want to go from the darker color. So I already took one dip and mixed it into the white paint to make a very, very light tint of the turquoise. I'm going to add one more. And you're going to notice that it just gets a little bit darker. And then, of course, you would paint another section with this color, and it's just a little bit darker, as you can see. Looks like I might have needed to mix a little bit more, but definitely you can see that I'm using my tippy toe brush painting. In other words, I'm holding my brush very lightly, and I'm just using the tips of the bristles to just touch that paper. And that's how I just keep that brush on its tippy toes, and that's how I'm going to be able to paint into those areas. Every time I want to make a little bit of a darker shade, I just go right into that darker color, mix it in, and you're going to start to see this get darker and darker. I'm going to go ahead and mix it a few more times so you can see every time I go into that, it's going to go just a little bit darker. And I'm putting quite a bit of the turquoise on my brush in order to change that shade. If you don't see it getting much darker and you want to take two dips to make this tint a little bit darker, go ahead and do two dips. And this is your paint container, so feel free to just dip in and make those changes. Now, as you continue mixing tints, you will continue painting them all the way around this. You'll notice how all of your shapes, you've got so many different shapes in here, and you can kind of jump around and paint your tints. And when you're ready to paint your shades, you're going to need to rinse your brush off. And dry it off. And sometimes I actually just dry it off right on the table. If your brush doesn't seem to be getting clean, it might mean that you need a new water container. So just go ahead and rinse that brush off. You can wipe it on the edges there. And then I'm going to show you how you can mix a shade. When you're mixing a shade, you just want to dip just the tip of the brush into the black. Now, again, you want to go darkest color into the lighter color. So when we mixed the tint, we went the turquoise into the white because the turquoise is darker than the white. But when you're doing a shade, black is always going to be the darkest color. So you want to go just a tiny bit of black, and you're going to mix it into this color right here. And you may not see much of a change at first, but as you start to paint, you'll see that it's a little bit darker than the actual turquoise. And again, tippy toe brushing as you go. Don't forget to use a few, paint a few spaces with your original pure color as well, but I just wanted to show you how to mix tints and shades.